Hey guys, I wanted to do a daily check-in with you folks. I'm going to show you how the progress is being made on that fixture that I was telling you I'm going to recreate for you folks. This is it over here, and I used the clear glue. It's not going to be even because it's not going to be completely even. So if you're really looking for something that's going to be so even, don't expect it to be even. But what you should expect about it is that when you start applying the petals to it, it will become more even as you apply the petals. But if you're looking for like a project that's going to be completely even, don't expect it to be. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of get comfortable here while I talk to you folks. So the next part of what I want to discuss about the gang stalkers is their expectation for you to serve them. You're supposed to be like some sort of a servant to them. So they always come up like, why don't you do this? Why don't you say this? What? So in this building, it's a fireproof building. So sounds just kind of travel throughout the building. And as much as I try to get the sounds under control for our videos, it doesn't work. So you'll start to hear them making noises. I just ignore them now. They're really offended that I'm talking to you guys because they don't like when I talk to friends, and I consider you guys now my friends, openly and tell them what's going on in my life. They're very, they want to control every little thing about my life. Heard that knock? They just knocked. They want to control everything about me. And that's why I dislike them. I mean, my dislike for them is big. That's the only way I can say it. But one of the things that they would do is when they follow me in the street, they'll come up to me and start asking me directions and asking me questions as though I'm not entitled to have my own life and have a space for myself. And I think that's why they wanted to invade this space, because this was like sort of their way of having ultimate control over me. If they can't control me at work because I'm not sleeping with the unattractive guys that they want me to sleep with, that's part of what I want you to kind of go over with. Stalkers will be exposed and liars aren't coming forward. That video will point out how their technique works. Their technique is to keep you constantly absorbed in their world, constantly worried about what you're saying, what you're doing. So in a previous, when I previously had the Cup of Java Productions videos, I talked about gaslighting and this really great movie with Ingrid Bergman where it's called Gaslight. And it's a phenomenal movie. If you guys aren't really interested in black and white movies, please still check it out. I'm sure they're going to at some point remake that movie because they do that with all great movies. But it's such a great movie. And the beautiful Ingrid Bergman plays the wife of someone who's highly manipulative. And what he does is he starts, and they call it gaslight because he starts to lower and dim the lights throughout the house. I don't want to tell you guys everything to ruin it for you, but to make her think that the lights are down and dim. And it's the old idea of a husband driving a rich woman crazy so he could take over her life, make her ruin her credibility, and people would distrust her and distrust her view of the world. So it's just a phenomenal movie. It's something that I think every person should see, not just women. And so I talked about that movie in a previous video that I did, and I took those videos down. And that's pretty much what these gang stalkers do. They try to diminish your credibility like they did in that that husband did to the wife in the movie, by making you look crazy, making people think you're crazy, and ruining your credibility. So what they do to me is when they follow me around, they have usually an older white woman approach me. And she's always like scouts. Like there could be a lot of other people on the street. She'll always approach me. And she'll come up to me and say, "Oh, could you help me? I need directions to such and such and such." And I'll even look around at other people to see, well, why did she approach me? It wasn't until, and I'll ask you guys to check out my at Shamika Johnson Twitter page and go through some of the pictures, that I realized that that's a way of making me look bad.
If I happen to have a bad day and I don't want to answer questions because I'm like every other human being in New York City, rushing to someplace, rushing to work, rushing to catch my bus stop, then I look like I'm being a bitch, and not like a good bitch, a nasty bitch. If I do help, then usually these people who approach me kind of smirk like, I got you. Meaning not in a I got you as you helped me, but like, see, I took your time and energy. They're not appreciative. So regular people would appreciate, wow, this person took time out of his or her day to help. These people look at it as I'm a weak person because I should have known that this was a trick to lure me and suck me in. Because part of what this scam is that if you are a New Yorker, you're familiar with that scam. When somebody approaches you, someone else can distract you and take your wallet, steal your purse, or something like that. So unless you're smart about when and how you help people, you could be a victim of a scam. I look at it like this. If I feel comfortable in an environment, I stop and help as a native New Yorker. If I don't, I don't, because that's part of the scam. Many years ago, these people tried that on me. And I was walking in, I went into a place that sold donuts. And out of nowhere, as I'm approaching, someone who's homeless approaches me really fast and says, "Can I have $1?" And I was like, "No," like I was so taken off, caught off guard with this. And I'm like, "No," and he stood in the restaurant, and instead of the owner of the restaurant shooing him away, he kind of just looked. Now, if I owned a restaurant and a person wants $1, I would probably have said either to shoo him away or I would have given him something. But he's the owner of the restaurant saw me kind of like taken aback and kind of just looked at the situation. And I was so stunned. And that's what I'm telling folks, that when you're dealing with these types of people, as a female, I probably weigh less than 105 pounds wet. I'm small. I'm black, and I'm very petite. You can tell how petite I am. I am not a threatening person. I am surprised by how few people kind of can see how, as a small, petite female, I approach life from a different perspective than someone who's a bigger female or a man. And when these people are trying to bully and intimidate me, I'm surprised that people see it and they don't kind of step in. I've stepped in for other people. I've seen people trying to bully, harass, and stalk people and stepped in for them. And yes, you do have a few people who will, but not when you're surrounded by these gangstalkers. And that's, they get angry when I tell these stories because they think I should be protective of other people who aren't doing the right thing. I think it's the opposite. I think that if we're going to start talking about how women are treated in the world, we have to call on our male allies to step up and treat and look at a situation from our perspective and be on guard to help us. Just like we're on guard to help people and each other, we need our male allies to step up and help us when we are being intimidated or bullied. So they aren't getting my point. And I know a lot of you are getting my point because I can tell from just how this is being absorbed. People are understanding that in order for us to have a better society, it's not about yelling, using violence, or acting out. It's about other people being observant and observing what's going on and stepping up, even if it doesn't mean speaking out, looking at the people and saying, I got to keep my eye on this. So what I would have liked the owner of the restaurant or the donut shop to have done was to either acknowledge the person and tell him, please leave the establishment and not stalk me. I did that at a boutique where I worked. A man came in. I was working with a customer and the woman looked intimidated. He asked for $20. I said, "Excuse me, sir, but I need you to leave and not interact with her." When he left, the woman said, "Aren't you scared?" I said, "No, I'm a native New Yorker. I'm used to this." But that's what people do when they care about other people. So I'm telling you right now that these gangstalkers, don't take into consideration, because they lack empathy, how they treat other people and how other people perceive their actions. So I've given you guys examples of how they interact with the world, and examples that this is something that these types of people have been doing for years. It's not, gangstalking uses the same techniques as most abusers, and that's part of this. If you watch Gaslight, he'll show you every single trick in the book to get money from his wife that he used. It's very informative. If you watch, there's another really good movie called House of Cards. Joe Mantegna is in it, and another actress. It's such a good film. It's about con artists and how they operate. It's all the same trick. And the more information you have, I always say knowledge is power. The more information you have about gangs and criminals and con artists and how they operate, the more informed you are, the more you are going to be not only an asset to yourself, but asset to everyone else around you. So just so I can just conclude this video, I just wanted to let you folks know. I always give you an update on the physical. And the side. And my finger is oozing today. I want to show you the finger. I've been trying to work on whatever it is, it burns me. Whatever they're using tends to burn me. So I don't know if you folks can see that. Do you see that? There it is. So I think it's a microwave heat lamp. These people have decided that they are going to heat me up to make me uncomfortable, which is why you see how I have a lot of discoloration, the eye bruising. So they decided that that's the best way for them to attack me. And, you know, the knocking isn't enough. Following me isn't enough. Trying to lie on me isn't enough. They have to damage my skin and my apartment. So I don't know if you guys can see. Look at that. All right. So when they hit me with these whatever lasers or whatever, and it makes the marks, I'll show you on my arm. Hold on for one moment. It causes these lumps, and you see how you have those. I have those marks, and then I have the lump because my body is trying to defend itself from these marks. So you see the marks? I don't know if you folks can see it. And so it causes inflammation. This is my other hand. It causes inflammation and lumps and marks. So it's very funny. I got in it's dated 2016, then it's dated 2017, then it's dated 2018, 2019. Something about cognition and inflammation and pain. Again, that's on my Twitter account. And it's weird how that predated these symptoms. So I got a letter asking me to be part of a study about inflammation and cognition before this happened. I guess I don't have it nearby, but if you go to my Twitter account, you'll see it. So they're really concerned now that they don't want me to talk to you folks about this because they're concerned about how you folks will perceive me. Because if you perceive me the wrong way, they won't be able to continue to harass me. See, if they harass me and I look crazy, then they're the bad guys. But if they harass me and I don't look crazy, to me, they're still the bad guys. But in their minds, they think that will kind of clear them. So to kind of clarify that one more time, they feel that if I seem crazy, then they can't harass me because they look like they're harassing someone crazy. So they want me to stay some level of sane while driving me insane. So that to me doesn't make sense. If you're driving me insane, causing all these physical symptoms that I can't, you can't work around people. They're like, why don't you do some videos where you're cooking? How can I cook with this on my finger? That's disgusting. This is like nasty hands. They don't like, so they want to recommend that somebody with hands that are nasty should be cooking and giving out recipes. It doesn't make sense. It's a bunch of craziness. So they don't want me to sound crazy.